Hello, basketball people, we have news. Let's go to more news about the Golden State Warriors. I ask you to give a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, as I am a Warriors fan. A solid center is a necessity for the Warriors, and this player is seeing his value diminish. Warriors want to trade with Chicago Bulls and sign Nikola Vucevic. They'd undoubtedly show interest in the 2X All-Star again. There's arguably no other NBA player that's been more strongly linked to the Golden State Warriors over the past 12 months than Nikola Vucevic, particularly in the weeks leading up to February's midseason deadline. After so much speculation, NBA insiders Jake Fisher and Mark Stein seemingly put the Vucevic talk to bed when they reported earlier in the week that the Warriors had moved on from their previous interest in the 2X All-Star. However, there's a difference between trading real assets for Vucevic on a $21.5 million expiring contract and signing him on the cheap as a free agent. That's exactly what could be on the cards for the Warriors if growing speculation on a Vucevic buyout does come to fruition. The Bulls could execute a buyout with Nikola Vucevic. Buyouts have suddenly become a regular occurrence over the last week, starting with the Portland Trail Blazers moving on from former number 1 overall pick DeAndre Ayton. The Milwaukee Bucks then sensationally weighed down stretched the contract of superstar guard Damian Lillard, giving them the cap flexibility to sign Miles Turner in free agency. Bradley Beal could be next as the Phoenix Suns consider a buyout for the 3X All-Star, and now rumors are running rife on social media that Vucevic too could be headed for the same fate. If it's possible for these other big-name players, then it's certainly plausible for a 35-year-old Vucevic who clearly doesn't fit the timeline of the Chicago Bulls. The Bulls have had little luck generating a trade market for Nikola Vucevic. After demanding a first-round pick at the deadline, Chicago's market for the soon-to-be 35-year-old has dried up. Vucevic wants to finish his career on a contending team, so a buyout could be an option. The Chicago Bulls have been looking to move Nikola Vucevic for a couple of months. Given the Warriors had interest in Vucevic on his current contract, you could only presume that they would certainly explore a move for the 6 feet 10 inches big man if he suddenly becomes available on the free agency market. Golden State's interest in him stemmed from an excellent start to last season, with Vucevic finishing the year averaging a very solid 18.5 points, 10.1 rebounds, and 3.5 assists on 53% shooting from the floor and 40.2% from three-point range. Defensive concerns would have certainly played the biggest part in the Warriors ultimately passing on a Vucevic trade, but those issues would be mitigated if you're essentially getting him for free on a near-minimum contract. Golden State have identified the need for a veteran stretch 5 heading into free agency, with 5X All-Star Al Horford becoming a priority who remains likely to land in the Bay. However, if the Horford options falls over, or if the Warriors want another veteran option to eat up the center minutes, then Vucevic could be a great addition if he hits free agency. Golden State Warriors sign NBA All-Star's brother for Summer League. Isaiah Mobley appeared in one game for the Philadelphia 76ers during the 2024-25 NBA season. He put up 6 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 steal and 1 block while shooting 28.6% from the field and 33.3% from the three-point range. Recently, it was announced that Mobley signed with the Golden State Warriors for 2025 NBA Summer League. Via Dalton Johnson of NBC Sports Bay Area, Evan Mobley's brother, Isaiah, is playing Summer League for the Warriors. Mobley was the 49th pick in the 2022 NBA draft out of USC. He has spent part of 3 seasons playing for the 76ers and Cavs. His career averages are 2.6 points and 1.5 rebounds per contest while shooting 40.7% from the field and 33.3% from the three-point range in 23 games. Johnson also added, on June 30 Isaiah Mobley, who is playing Summer League with the Warriors, says he has been scrimmaging with Klay Thompson for the last 3 weeks. They're both represented by the same agency. Proposed trade has Lakers send LeBron James to Warriors for $120 million star. NBA trade rumors continue to swirl about LeBron James' future with the Los Angeles Lakers. The Golden State Warriors' interest in James has been well documented. ESPN previously reported that Golden State attempted to trade for James in 2024. Now, the Warriors could have another opportunity if James' relationship with the Lakers goes south. Sports Illustrated's Jackson Caudell and Rohan Raman floated a three-team trade idea with James as the centerpiece. The trade pitch involves the Lakers, Warriors, and Atlanta Hawks. Golden State lands James, Bronny James, Dalton Knecht, Shake Milton, and Jordan Goodwin. In exchange for dealing one of the NBA greats, the Lakers acquired Jonathan Kuminga via a sign-and trade, 4-year, $120 million contract, Buddy Hield, Brandon Podziemski, and Tracy Jackson-Davis. Additionally, the Hawks receive Moses Moody and Gueye Santos for helping facilitate the blockbuster Warriors-Lakers deal. Let's dive into the pros and cons to this wild blockbuster trade pitch for the Lakers and Warriors. The Warriors pushed the Lakers to trade LeBron James back in 2024. The move would allow James to finally play with Steph Curry and Draymond Green. ESPN's Ramona Shelburne and Adrian Wojnarowski previously revealed secret conversations between the Warriors and Lakers ahead of the 2024 NBA trade deadline. Over a clandestine 24-hour window prior to the trade deadline Thursday that included owner-to-owner conversations, the Golden State Warriors made an unsuccessful bid to convince the Los Angeles Lakers and LeBron James to consider a trade to pair him with longtime rival Stephen Curry, sources told ESPN. Wojnarowski and Shelburne detailed in a February 14, 2024, story titled, Sources. Warriors made bid for LeBron James at trade deadline. The Warriors were eager to present a package deal to LA, but neither the Lakers nor James were willing to explore a potential blockbuster. Rich Paul told Lackaban Warriors GM Mike Dunleavy Jr. that James had no interest in a trade and wanted to remain a Laker, sources said. When Dunleavy reached out to Lakers GM Rob Pelinka in those pre-trade deadline hours, Dunleavy had been told the same. The Lakers wanted to keep James, sources said. Will the Lakers actually consider a trade for LeBron James? The trade rumors have intensified after James dropped a bombshell statement about his future, via agent Rich Paul, ahead of NBA free agency. It remains to be seen if this was posturing by James to push the Lakers to make moves, or if the superstar will attempt to push for a trade. The Lakers would add a lot of useful pieces around Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves, Caudell and Raman wrote in a July 4, 2025, story titled, New Blockbuster Three-Team Trade Proposal Sends LeBron James to Golden State, Jonathan Kuminga to the Lakers. Kuminga could take on a bigger role with the Lakers and Podziemski and Hield give the Lakers solid options off the bench. Jackson Davis is an intriguing young option for this team and they create a lot of future flexibility. This would not be the first time James sparked conversation about his future, but the signs still point to the star suiting up for the Lakers this season, even if his camp is attempting to cloud the picture this offseason. Jonathan Kuminga trade could gift Warriors 6 feet 7 inches sharpshooter they initially rejected. A swap of 2021 first-round picks? The Jonathan Kuminga situation is dragging on into the weekend, with the Golden State Warriors yet to find a resolution with their restricted free agent or any of the team currently linked to a sign-and trade for the young forward. The Washington Wizards are the latest team linked to a move for Kuminga, according to a report from Anthony Slater of The Athletic on Thursday. The Wizards are interesting because they have an intriguing blend of young players, veterans, and draft capital including Golden State's first-round pick in 2030, top 20 protected, but there's an obvious and realistic piece that will likely be included in any Kuminga sign-and trade. The Warriors could acquire 6 feet 7 inches sharpshooter Corey Kispert. Given the base year compensation rules that limit what the Warriors can take back in a trade, they have to be very specific with the contract they take back in a trade. It's why, as reported by Slater, Golden State are after a promising young player likely on a rookie contract, rather than a veteran who would presumably be making more than $15 to $20 million. Corey Kispert is actually beginning his rookie extension next season, but his 4-year, $54 million contract is still very much in the range of what the Warriors could take back. In fact, the 6 feet 7 inches sharpshooter is quite easily the most obvious player that would be part of any trade proposals. At 26 years old, Kispert is who he is as a high-level shooter who's not going to become a star. He holds career averages of 11.1 points, 3.0 rebounds, and 1.7 assists, shooting 38.2% from three-point range on over 5 attempts per game. It's easily conceivable that the Wizards would be willing to throw Kispert into a trade, ensuring they maintain their younger assets who still hopes of becoming stars. Kispert may actually be more valuable to the Warriors and their short-term hopes, giving them a perimeter threat off the bench who could flourish as a spot-up shooter in Steve Kerr's system. Is Kispert enough in a Kuminga sign-and trade? Not by himself, but perhaps with picks involved. Golden State could be motivated if they truly don't think they can get any better while also balking at bringing Kuminga back themselves. It's worth noting that the Warriors have rejected Kispert twice before, having passed on him twice at the 2021 NBA draft. They used their first pick, 7th, on Kuminga, then notably took Moses Moody, 14th, in front of Kispert, who went to the Wizards one spot later. If the Warriors were to accept a Kispert plus picks trade, you'd think it would come at the end of the road after they've explored all possible scenarios. Until then, they'll be looking for higher upside pieces who bring some optimism to what's a frustrating Kuminga scenario. Warriors face new Al Horford free agency threat no one saw coming. This would hurt. After a savvy trade that sent former Golden State Warriors big man Dario Saric to the Sacramento Kings, it was widely assumed that the Denver Nuggets had finally got their ideal veteran backup for Nikola Jokic in the form of Jonas Valanciunas. But while that trade was made at the start of free agency, there's now a good chance that Valanciunas won't arrive in Denver at all as he seeks a return to Europe, where there's a strong offer on the table from Panathinaikos in Greece. The Nuggets could become a threat to sign Al Horford in free agency. The Valanciunas decision could become a real problem for the Warriors, throwing a spanner in the works of trying to sign veteran big man Al Horford in free agency. Should the Lithuanian return to Europe and forfeit the final year of his NBA contract, the Nuggets could suddenly open up the full non-taxpayer mid-level exception and target an alternative backup for Jokic. While there's been no direct reports linking the Nuggets to the 39-year-old in the last 24 hours, there's growing speculation that they could become a real player in the Horford sweepstakes. Golden State have been the hot favorites to land the Boston Celtics big man over recent days, while the Los Angeles Lakers and the option of retirement have also been reported as potential options for Horford. With the Nuggets now once again without a backup center, they are widely expected to pivot to pursuing Al Horford in free agency. The Warriors and Lakers are the only teams currently in the Horford sweepstakes, but Denver would instantly offer him an important rotation role. Unfortunately for the Warriors, the Nuggets option does make a lot of sense and would be a wonderful fit for a franchise that's already considered big winners from the last week. The Nuggets traded Michael Porter Jr. and a future first-round pick to the Brooklyn Nets for sharpshooter Cam Johnson on Monday, while subsequently signing valuable rotation pieces Bruce Brown and Tim Hardaway Jr. to cheap contracts. Denver could have a couple things on their side over Golden State, even beyond simply being able to offer more from a financial perspective. Right now, particularly after what we've seen since the start of free agency, the Nuggets look like a far more legitimate championship contender. If Horford is simply looking to add another title to his decorated resume, then even Warrior fans would probably concede the Nuggets are in a better position. The Warriors could still offer a far more significant role and playing time than the Nuggets given their vacancy at the center position, but it remains to be seen just how much of a motivating factor that is for Horford entering his 19th season. Perhaps he'd actually prefer playing backup to Jokic rather than take on a heavy burden with Golden State, not to mention that their skill sets would actually allow Horford and Jokic to play some minutes together in double big lineups. The Valanciunas acquisition made it seem like the Nuggets wouldn't be in the market for another center like Horford, but here we are after a development that could deal a brutal blow to the Warriors' hopes of signing the 5X All-Star.